meeting. If you've attended a lunch and learn before, then you'll have seen a quite different format and much more centralized on the presentation and the presenter. This is going to be a bit more relaxed, a bit more interactive. So yeah, I think I'll, without further ado, I'll hand over to Fiona and Lisa to get us underway.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the lunch and learn about Solihull parenting, which may be news to some of you, but there are some familiar faces, so some people are already in that loop. My name's Lisa Baker. I'm the parenting coordinator for all the groups across Solihull, and the team is growing. It used to be very, very small, and Michaela and I were the only team members, but we've had 2 people join us in the last, well, just over 12 months ago, which including Fiona, who's here today. So we now have 3 parenting support workers supporting outreach and for the families and children across the borough. Thank you, Fiona. So there's a whole range of parenting support that we offer. Some stuff's been around a while. A lot of the groups we originally launched in Solihull, we're talking probably 15, 18 years ago, were based on something called the Solihull approach, which is very much a sort of collection of psychological theories to improve parental relationships with their children, improve communication, and as a result, hopefully behaviour will improve as well. The Understanding Your Child group has been running for many, many years. And there's a few people here who have been running it for us across the borough in previous times. The Solihull Approach group is led by professionals from other agencies and delivered to a group of up to 12 parents. We've also expanded the offer to run the Being a Parent group, which is another universal programme, and that's actually led for us by trained parent volunteers, which creates a really lovely atmosphere where it's peer-to-peer support and sometimes takes away a bit of that stigma that you're going to be told, you're doing the parenting wrong, even though, as we all know, there is no right or wrong. And then the newest group that we've launched in the borough is something called 5 to Thrive. Fiona's been integral in delivering that to primarily new mums with babies up to 12 months old. And that's been very, very successful and focuses on the 5 building blocks of development for parents to concentrate on and improve their child's development from the early age. And she'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. And there's also a whole range of online parenting courses that we offer that are, delivered by Solihull Approach that all parents and carers in Solihull and professionals can access free of charge, just using an access code. So there's a wealth of information, and they're constantly adding new stuff in there as well. They've just added a new module called Understanding Your Teenager after the pandemic, which is an interesting one, but obviously a lot about mental health of young people, particularly teens. Adding to the mental health, we're also running parental mental health awareness workshops in connection with Solar and Educational Psychology team. And they've been running for about 12 months, 2 years now, on lots of different subjects. We'll be running a well-being workshop shortly, and an emotion coaching session. So the topics that they're covering are quite diverse, and obviously there's scope to expand that massively, and a lot of that is based on parent feedback from previous workshops. And the other thing that we also offer is, in collaboration with Autism West Midlands, specialist groups and workshops for parents of children on the spectrum. Those run throughout the year. There's some that are series of weeks, and there's some that are just like 2-hour workshops, webinars, that parents can sign up for. Nod. Other groups that happen as well around that, which are quite specific. We start early on, really. The midwifery teams in the borough deliver an antenatal parenting group for parents to be. That takes place north and south. And then once parents have had babies up to 6 months can go along with their parents to the postnatal parenting group, which is run by the health visiting team. And that kind of ties in nicely with the advocate system we operate in Solihull, where we run a quarterly meeting with lots of other agencies where we all just meet up to share ideas, skills and knowledge, and also to, highlight any areas of need that people are coming across at the coalface, really. So, our whole setup is based on collaboration and working in partnership with all the agencies in the rest of the borough. Thank you, Fiona.
Okay, that's
so
me.
I'm going to hand you over to Fiona now, who's going to give you a little bit more detail about the 5 to 5 group, which, as I mentioned, is the most recent addition to the range of groups that we're offering.
My baby. Yeah, so 5 to 5, it's a 6-week program, and we cover the building blocks for baby's brain, so talk, play, relax, cuddle, respond. And the first session, we really concentrate on self-care and getting across the point that part of looking after your children is actually looking after yourself. We do a group in the north at Three Trees, Craycroft, and a group at the Bridge in Shirley. Obviously, that's in the south. And the idea is that it's going to reassure parents that, because sometimes we do things with babies like copy their noises and do things. Why do we need to read to them? So it can be some reassurance that we're doing the right things for our baby, because sometimes there can be some conflicting advice out there or some old-fashioned advice. So it's up to date, evidence-based, relevant advice, and hopefully it builds confidence in parenting. And they're fun, interactive, relaxed sessions. It's not a classroom teacher approach. There's time for mums to socialise with each other and build up that peer support group as well. And the idea is that the 5 to 5 group would follow on from the postnatal group. So you'd go antenatal, postnatal, 5 to 5, and then maybe one of the being a parent groups as well. Have I missed anything, Lisa?
I don't believe so.
I think that's that for 5 to 5. And then obviously we've got the being a parent group, as Lisa said, it's run by parents. So it's, I guess, maybe easy to relate. And again, it's not that classroom teacher approach. There's online groups as well, so it's easier for couples to go, because no one's, hopefully no one's at work, and we get more dads on those as well. And obviously it's easier because you're at home in the safety of your own home, so people don't have to put their cameras on if they don't want to. They usually do towards the end of the group. And again, it's about building that peer support as well for parents to talk to each other and realise they're not the only one. And then they can try strategies and then come back the next week and discuss what happened as well. So it's like a really safe space to don't know what to say. Lisa, I shall hand over to you.
I was going to say, to share experiences. It's very collaborative.
That's the word.
None of our groups work on the basis that we're telling people how to do stuff,
Yeah.
because that's just not helpful. And every parent will find a different way of working with each of their children. Each child will have different needs and respond to different tools and strategies. So being a parent is very much a toolkit that we provide parents with to give it a go, see what works for them. At the end of the day, they're the expert on their children. No matter what anybody else says, they know their children best, and we encourage them and empower them really to find something and find tools that work for them to improve their home life.
Well said, Lisa.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, the outline of the course, there's specific topics covered each week, but it's very and similarly to the 5 to Thrive that where Fiona mentioned about parents being in the right place themselves and looking after themselves. That's kind of how the Being a Parent group starts. And then we obviously focus on specific subjects about feelings, play. There's very much there about valuing your child and how, improving the way you talk to them and ask them to do things and communicate. And then obviously you get onto things like discipline strategies, but also not underestimating the benefits of that, improving that communication through listening. And the whole thing, as I say, if you can go to the next slide, Fiona, sorry, they build up a toolkit of different strategies that they can then revert to and call on when the need arises, on the basis that some tools may never work for some children, some will work some of the time, and some will work, you know, as they get older, there might be different things that they can try that will then work in a different way. So it is very flexible. And as I say, encourages parents to really to take that control back and gives them the confidence to do that. Somebody did ask a question while we were talking about that. Sandra, the group is, all our groups are for parents of children sort of up to teens, so 0 to 16. If that's what you meant by over 18s. For all parents and carers.
Sorry, I meant the participants. Do the participants have to be over 18? The parents themselves.
No, basically all parents and carers. Okay. Obviously, you know, it depends what stage they're at and their maturity if they're not over 18. But the only, you know, qualification, if you like, is that they are a parent or a carer. We'll come on to how you find out about it, Lucy, towards the end. So keep listening, no pressure.
Can I just add as well, it could be like grandparents and things like that as well, because it is good, because you do these groups and then you go home and you're like, oh, it's really good, and then you forget everything that was said because you're not discussing it with everyone. So we do encourage people to share all of the strategies with family members, so you're all talking the same language, if that makes sense. Yeah.
And likewise, the fact that there are virtual groups available in an evening now as well, thanks to the pandemic, which has spurred us all on to do this, it has massively helped in, you know, accessibility in different ways. So we're getting a lot more dads attending in an evening, and also people don't want to have to go out when they've got in from work either. So that's worked really well. Going to jump forward for Louise. Louise, all the groups are accessible via the parenting team. Everything we offer is on Eventbrite. And when at the end of the presentation, I know that George is going to send out the slides. So we'll be able to send you that. And there's a contact slide on there with email addresses, Eventbrite link, etc., as well as the QR code. So I hope that answers that question.
Okay, should we go to the
I
next
was just
one?
going to say, sorry, I hope it's all right. Just from my perspective, I would say as a parent in Solihull, having had 2 little ones come through, and I've done a lot of groups and things like that, but I have never come across this. And so what is missing for parents like myself, just generally, it's not looking for me necessarily, but just why is it as a parent that these courses haven't come to me? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely,
is
yeah.
it for children that are, is it more aimed at families that might be struggling or going through social care? Is that why I have?
No,
Or
absolutely
is it
not.
I was thinking, is it more for the north of the borough? I don't know. But as a parent, I've been to groups, I've been to all my baby groups, paid for, but nothing like this. I've never heard of it. So I'm thinking, why is it as a parent that I have not heard about this?
Yeah, I can't answer the question, Louise. Lucy, sorry, because obviously the way that we roll it out, obviously because it's delivered by professionals in our other agencies, there's an element where we rely on them to promote it because they'll be running that particular group, particularly when you're talking about antenatal with the midwifery teams and postnatal with health visiting. I think with everything, and you know, or there's that much to remember, whatever role you're in. I think sometimes that does fall by the wayside, but I'm not sure that's an excuse for why it hasn't been, because you know, we've been around a long time in Solihull. It's not, yes, we're offering new products and new ways of delivering it, but actually we've existed for quite a long time.
Interesting.
So it is
interesting. With the schools maybe, or I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, again, we do promote to all agencies, schools in particular. We do a lot of outreach with schools. A lot of stuff goes through headlines, so we hope that gets cascaded, but we are very much at the behest of them passing that on to parents. And some schools are great at doing that, but obviously there are others that perhaps don't, which is a real shame. But I think one of the big things, because we're a very small team, and we've been much smaller before Fiona and Ao joined us, outreach has been a challenge. So being in people's faces and reminding people that we exist is always been a bit difficult. We've always kind of relied on people being in the know that know about it and word of mouth. So hopefully that should get better from now on.
Are you going through, are you promoting it through like social media channels? 'Cause, for example, in Solihull, there's like Solihull mums and dads, and all the mums and dads post about all sorts of stuff, like Christmas events, or sometimes people want to sell stuff. Are those channels being exploited? Because that's where a lot of parents are quite active.
Yeah, I mean, again, we rely on other agencies using, posting our stuff on their feeds. We don't have our own feed, unfortunately. It's a very complicated setup with parenting, because I sit in Bernardo's with Solar and the rest of the team sit in the local authority. So it's quite confusing from a communications perspective. Hopefully, again, that'll be rectified. But, we have recently, thanks to Rosie, updated the pages on the website, on the council website. So a lot more stuff is available than was previously. I'm just going to go back to questions because I've got people are asking questions.
Should we just do the activity, because then it's questions after that anyway?
Yeah, I just, with people not necessarily being able to stay, I was just very conscious of that.
Yeah. Do you want me to stop sharing?
Carry on. No, carry on.
But yeah, promotion's
and we'll whiz
been an
through
issue,
it, and then we can get to questions.
The lunch and learn. Right.
Oh dear. Understanding your child's behaviour it's actually just understanding your child now, is the other universal programme that we offer that's been around much, much longer than anything else. Very similar in content to the Being a Parent, based on psychological theories and with the same objectives, but the difference is that it's run by professionals in other agencies. Of late, the group's been running out of Solihull College, with tutors from the college delivering it, and those groups have been very, very well attended. And that's taken place north and south. But in the past, obviously, that's happened in lots of schools, delivered by school staff and school nursing, as well as people in children's services, and obviously historically in children's centres. So the aim is that will resume in family hubs when they obviously open next year. Online courses, we mentioned, whole range. I mean, obviously there's more than there are there. They've added quite a few new modules recently, but all of those are accessible basically with the access code of Applejacks. And as long as you've got a Solihull postcode, then it will accept that code. So I know that there's a question about people living in Birmingham, and obviously there's quite a few areas in Solihull where they may actually go to a Solihull school or have a Solihull GP, even though they live actually under a Birmingham postcode. And actually that it would still be accessible by them, although they'd have to fudge the postcode, let's just say, to be able to get onto the groups. But there's a wealth of information on there for parents, and also for, teens themselves. There's 2 courses now for teens to complete to help them understanding their own brain and also their own mental health too. Thank you, Fiona.
Okay.
Back to Fiona now. She's going to give you a taster.
Yeah, so this is one of my favourite activities from the group. I'm gonna, will that work if I stop sharing my screen? Can you still see that? No. Okay. So I just want to be able to you'll have to tell me then, Lisa, to use the chat. So you can either shout out or use the chat. Can you see me? You can't see me, can you? Okay.
It's fine. We can see you.
Yeah, we can see you.
The presentation.
So this is my amazing artwork here. Please don't be jealous. I know. Hi, Rosie. So this is a perfect parent. Do you see their massive smile because they are a perfect parent? I want you to put in the chat or to shout out What a perfect parent always does. And then we'll talk about it after. Okay. Does anyone want to go first? What does the perfect parent always do? I'm going to pick on Rosie.
So from my experience, perfect parent never shouts at their children.
Oh, we're going to do never neck. So this is what they always
Okay.
do. So maybe they always talk gently.
Talk gently, calmly to their children.
Talk calmly. Okay.
You've got a few in the chat as well, Fiona.
I was going to say, yeah, we've got in the chat, we've got listens.
Always listens.
Praises.
Absolutely. They're so positive.
Always there and shows love.
I like it.
I was going to say, tell them that you love them.
Yeah.
Every day.
Wow.
Supportive.
Yep, got supportive.
I'd like to say things like, you know, always looks amazing.
Oh, immaculate. Absolutely immaculate. Always.
Karen, thank you. Always has everything organised.
Always on time.
Always on time. A perfect parent would never, ever be late. Ever.
Never forgets anything. Oh, that's never.
Having an immaculate house, like run a very tight ship.
It's always
all the
neat
signs
and tidy.
clear. Yeah.
It's not only is it tidy, but it's actually clean as well. It's not even just shoved in a corner. Clean and tidy.
There's no surprise cupboards.
Always attends everything at school. Always remembers all the things that you have to remember to go to.
They're the one that does the WhatsApp group that reminds all the other parents, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So we're getting quite a little list here about what they always do. Anything else? Cuts from scratch, absolutely. Organic, handmade by baby Jesus, that kind of food. Yeah.
I'm intrigued by always feeds the rainbow, Louise.
Yeah, colourful, healthy food.
It's all about you.
Yeah, I've just understood it now.
You get Lisa, you know, that get microbiomes.
Oh yes, they're always looking after their children's microbiome. I haven't had that one before. Brilliant. So we're getting the idea of what a perfect parent always does. So what do they never? So what does a perfect parent never do then? Hey?
Shouts at their children.
A perfect parent would never ever shout at their child. They don't even have that octave. No. Wow. So what would a perfect parent never do?
Feed them sweets.
Oh yeah, they don't do junk food.
No junk food.
We've got physical violence.
Yeah.
So yeah. No smacking.
Physical, yeah, no smacking. They don't
never
need
gets
to.
flustered. Karen put apparently.
Love that one.
Never gets flustered.
I've got one. Never forget which days they're supposed to be in PE kit and normal. That's like a new thing post-COVID. Like they don't have a PE kit at school anymore. I've done it several times, and I've dropped the child at school, and then I look around and think everyone else is in their PE kit, and one of mine is in their school uniform.
Yeah, never forget the PE kit or the swimming kit. Never miss an appointment. They're never late either, I don't think.
Never late.
Would a perfect parent be late?
Never frustrated.
No,
thank you, Alex.
Never miss appointments.
Never has to deal with a meltdown in the supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah, always getting the homework done.
It's good enough, which is my mantra, basically.
Yeah, I always like to add actually on the they've always got a perfect relationship, like the perfect husband that does foot massages and cooks them dinner, and you know, that dream guy. Yeah. Anything else that they never do?
Who is he? If we find out, we'll get you his number, Louise.
Brilliant. I think a perfect parent would never say no. Whatever the kids want to do, they're going to do it. So they would never say no.
Never make their children cry.
No, the children have never, ever had tears in their eyes.
Well, I suppose if you're the perfect parent, you've got the perfect child, so you wouldn't need to say no because they'd know that they wouldn't ask for sweets if they're not allowed to have them anyway. Sorry, I'm struggling with the whole perfect lot. I'm going to shush up again.
Yeah, no.
Stick with it just a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
You're all right.
Stick with it. Yeah, absolutely.
Never grumpy or upset.
Never grumpy, never tired, always got loads of energy. Okay, are we getting the point? So there's a lot of things to live up to as a perfect parent. Is it achievable? Put your hand up if you think it's achievable to be a perfect parent. No hands. Hey, so what about if we all agree there's no such thing as a perfect parent? I throw it all over the place, but it's only me that's got to clean it up, so I'm not going to do that today. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. We put all this pressure on ourselves, but it's impossible. Put your hands up if you agree there's no such thing as a perfect parent. Yay. Absolutely. We're all just doing our best, and our best is good enough. We are good enough. Do we agree with that? Yeah, yes, we do, Stacey. We're so hard on us, and this is what we talk about on the groups as well. We're so hard on ourselves as parents, and actually, we're good enough. So sometimes we have to sit, like we have icebreaker questions. What do you do well as a parent? You know, you might make the funny jokes, you might make, you know, fun snacks, you might be on time, you might be organised, but you're not going to be everything. We did one of these once and somebody actually came off the call and I phoned him and I said, what happened? Where did you go? And he went, well, you're just telling everyone to be perfect. I was like, no, we're really not. And that's the kind of the point of these groups, that we're not perfect. We all just getting by. And sometimes parents can other parents can help you as well. Oh yeah, it is hard. The sleep deprivation is a killer, Alex, definitely. So we do things like that. So I guess the point of showing you that was that it's not a teacher pupil approach. We don't sit there telling people how to be perfect parents. We talk about our own experiences and our own parenting struggles and things like that. And, you know, sometimes, especially when I rip it up, you know, people's shoulders kind of visibly relax because we're all on the same side.
No one's going to beat them with a parenting stick.
Yes, absolutely not. So that's your one thing. Well, hopefully you already knew, but that's your thing you've learned for today, that there's no such thing as a perfect parent. We are good enough.
And that's all you have to be.
Indeed. Right, I'll go back to the slides. I think we're nearly done. Oh, yeah, so yeah, questions. So the groups are all universal, but we do get people referred by social services and things like that as well. And it's suitable for everyone because, as I say, we discuss it and you pick and choose what works for you. Same with SEND children as well. Not all of the things are going to work for them, but there definitely will be things to try. Don't need to be referred by anybody. People can book themselves on via email, phone call, or the Eventbrite website. Oh, sorry, that's our contact. Can you see that?
No, it disappeared, Fiona. But yeah, we don't have any formal referral process. In fact, for parents, you know, pretty much all we want to know is their name and contact details and the age of their children. All we care about is that they're parents and carers who want to, you know, benefit from more information. We don't ask any more than that. And obviously in a group setting, it's then up to them how much or how little they choose to share. So we're not intrusive. We don't need their life story. Unless obviously there's something pertinent and, you know, it would have bearing on them attending with other parents. But actually, generally, we just class everybody as universal.
Yeah, and we always hang around at the end of groups, even, you know, the 5 to 5 groups, the being a parent groups. If anybody needed a one-to-one chat, then we're always there afterwards as well.
I'm just going to whiz through the chat.
Yeah, any more questions? Or just shout out if you want.
Yeah. Alex did have a question about being services available to staff even if they don't live in the borough.
Yeah.
Basically, for any parents, carers, the criteria is an either or situation. So they would have to either live in Solihull, have a Solihull GP, or their child goes to a Solihull school. In terms of the online courses, as we already mentioned, as long as you're putting in a Solihull postcode with the access code Applejacks, pretty much anybody can then get onto that. It doesn't ask you for any more information than that. So that kind of opens it up a little bit.
And I'm pretty sure we can allow Solihull council employees onto the groups as well.
Absolutely. See if I missed any others. Does that answer your question, Alex?
Yeah, perfect.
We're with Solihull, yeah.
Yeah, we're with Solihull GP, and my mum and dad live in the borough, so yeah, we've got some work around, so it's fine. Thank you.
Get your mum and dad on it, absolutely. I bet they look after your children as well.
Today, in fact, so yeah, this one. Thank you.
Yeah,
So-
I believe the slides will be circulated, Jane.
Yeah, all the contact and booking infos on the slide. So I think that's it. It was a bit short and sweet, really.
I was expecting more questions.
That was good though. I mean, there were quite a few questions throughout it, so
There
I
were.
think that sort of, that meant there weren't too many at the end. But
And I didn't have to pick on Karen Oltz, who talk about parenting at all, who's delivered groups for us in the past. You're right, Karen.
Yeah. Hello. Yes. Yeah. Good.
So thank you very much to Fiona and to Lisa for that. I've got a little wrap up to do, so if you have any last minute questions, do pop them in, and I'm sure we can go back to them for those. But yeah, just to remind us, everyone, we will be sharing the slides. We'll also share the contact details and all the web links that have been mentioned, referred to, and to get you to these guys. That was a really, really good session, really good interactive. It's the first sort of properly interactive one we've done, so it was really nice to see a different format and nice kind of lively lunch and learn. So that was really good. Thank you very much for that.
You're very welcome.
There will be one in March. The next one is going to be on the council's new staff travel plan. The range of benefits on offer that will help you travel more sustainably. That's going to be on the 14th of March. There'll be a registration link out in the staff communication ones, probably the same way you saw the link to this one. Unless anyone has any sort of final questions, or unless Fiona and Lisa have got anything to add at this point, then I think.
No, just if anybody wants to contact us individually and chat about anything, absolutely welcome.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, both, and thank you everyone for coming. And enjoy the rest of your lunch if you've got any left.